Hey, this is Russ. Guess what showed up? Here, let me show you. Yeah, a new bike. This is the Magicycle Step-Thru model. Yeah, in white. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, the box came in pretty good. No real damages that I can see in the box at all. Came via FedEx. And yeah, give you the walk around here. Yeah, I'm excited to open this thing up. I'm gonna have to build it, of course. So I'm gonna have to do that in the garage. I'm not gonna do a full building video for you, but I'm gonna show you what's inside the box at least. There's plenty of other videos that are out there that can show you how to put one of these things together. And from what I saw on the various videos out there, it's not that hard to do. It's pretty much the same as most other bikes as far as putting it together. And I've built a couple of e-bikes already, so it shouldn't be that hard. So sit tight, let me show you what's in the box. So here's what it looks like on the inside. So you can see they've actually packed it pretty well. Yeah, it's a lot of foam, a lot of zip ties. Yeah, there's quite a bit of things in here. So I think this one here has got to be the battery. Yeah, we'll take that out. But yeah, everything else is packed very well. You can see they have foam padding on almost everything. Let me get the camera down there a little bit. Yeah, it's quite a bit of stuff. Let me pull it out of the box. I'll show you what it looks like before we start building this thing. So here's what's inside the box. You can see it's quite a bit of hardware here. I don't expect this to be difficult at all. So the front wheel needs to be put on. The handlebars need to be put on. The battery needs to be put on. There was another box in there too. I think that's some of the special things they give you for free. Let me scoot around this way here. Yeah, overall it seems like the bike made it in one piece. And here's the bike fully assembled. Only took me 45 minutes. I must be getting better at assembling bikes. But it's a sharp looking bike. Yeah, it's a mid-step model, comes in white, and the battery is 52 volts, 15 amp hours. So there's plenty of range, plenty of power. The tires are Kenda tires with a reflective stripe, 26-inch wheels, 4-inch wide. So these are fat tires. And of course, front headlight, rear tail light, and they run off of that battery. There is an ability to add a front basket, which I do have a basket coming from Magicycle. I'll put that in a future video. Good cable management, so it's not cables all over the place. It's nice and wrapped, and it does have a front bell on the brake lever. Yeah, these are Step-Thru brakes, so I'm familiar with this. And of course, front suspension. You could adjust it there, and you can lock it out if you don't want the suspension. I personally like the suspension, so I'd leave it open. And the brake system does use a 180 millimeter front and rear rotor. Okay, front wheel is a quick release. Here's the Step-Thru brakes. Yeah, very nice mechanical brakes. The controller is an external mount, which I like a lot because you can access it if you have to do any type of servicing. And even the pedals are branded. These are Welgos. We see that on a lot of bikes. And of course, a nice kickstand too. Does not get in the way of the pedals. It's a closer look of the Step-Thru brakes. The rear rack is included with the bike, so that saves you money right there. And there's even bungee cords that they give you that makes it easy to mount things on. I actually like the saddle. For one that they give you, it's actually pretty comfortable. They do give you some accessories. This is a cell phone case that they include with it. I've had my cell phone in there. And the display screen is color. Yeah, and it's easy to program, very easy to program. The derailleur is Shimano, and so the shifter is also Shimano. We see these again in a lot of bikes. And of course, the throttle is a right-hand throttle. You could put in accessory to change it into a thumb throttle if you want, but it's not included. Yeah, overall the things that they give you are very functional. Yeah, I like it a lot. But you know, overall for the price of the bike, I think they give you quite a few things along with the bike that maybe others don't give. And this is your pedal assist adjustments, but it also turns on the front light and the rear tail light. The rear tail light does not blink. It just looks like that on the camera. All right. Fenders are included. They are plastic fenders, and again, your freewheel is made by Shimano, so it's branded. Your motor is 750 watts, and it's very powerful. Here's the Shimano Altus derailleur. So yeah, these are all branded parts, so it's nice. And even the chain ring is made out of metal. It's not plastic. Yeah, it's very nice. I'm very happy with the bike. It looks really, really sharp, and I'm anxious to ride it to see how it performs. I'm giving the Magicycle a try at this point. Now, I have taken the bike out once already when I first got the bike, and I found a couple things about it that I needed to make changes to. Now, you've probably recognized from some other videos that may have reviewed this bike that the bike has a very big kick once you start out pedaling. All right, even on pedal assist level 1, the thing was set for like 40%, something like that, and that's just a little too much for me, and probably for most people. I understand why they do it. You know, there are a lot of people who buy this bike might be interested in getting top speeds and everything, but I also recognize that a lot of my viewers are not necessarily people in that category, that many of them actually want to ride a little safer, and so I suggest that we lower the pedal assist level numbers. Now, they do give you a 7 level of pedal assist. You could leave it at that, but I'm not used to it. My other bikes have 5 levels of assist. And so I made the decision I was going to change that to a 5 level. So I have mine set for pedal assist levels 1 through 5. I don't even have a 0 because I never ride these things in 0. It's a heavy bike. You know, it would be very difficult to ride at 0. So I decided the best way to do it is go 1 through 5. And then I changed the percentage of assist levels. I would have to say that the menu is one of the easiest menus I've had to navigate. That is a definite plus for Magicycle. So I took it down and I brought it down to levels of assist levels that I felt comfortable with. I also put a delay in the pedal too, so that once you start pedaling, it doesn't immediately start with the assist. Kind of waits a second or two and then it starts. Now, it is set up for immediate, so the minute you touch that pedal, it starts moving. All right. Again, I'm not used to it, so it's not right or wrong. It's just something I'm not used to. So I decided to bring it back to where I was used to. But again, if you're one that would like to get a lot of power out of your bike and you like that fast level of startup, this bike can do it. All right. Now, if you're a long-time watcher of Russ's Right, you might know that there's an area we're going to be heading towards where I've always had problems getting up this hill using my Rad Rover 5. And when I tested it out the other day, it was no problem. It was a piece of cake to get over that hill with this bike. So this bike has power. There's no doubt it has power. You know, it's a 52 volt battery, 15 amp hours. You have a certain amount of range, but the 52 volt battery really helps out. Now, let me tell you something about the 52 volt battery too. On my display over here, I can either see the usage or I guess the remaining power of my battery as a percentage, or I can see it as the actual voltage. So it comes set up so that you see it as a percentage. And I think most people probably would leave it that way, but I wanted to see it as an actual amount of voltage. So 52 volts is the nominal setting of the battery, but in reality, when you charge this thing up, it's 58 volts. And that's not unusual. It's not like these guys are the only people that do that. That's common for batteries, okay? You usually get a little bit more than what they tell you it is. And my battery is giving me 58, I think it was 58.4 volts when it was fully charged. So I wanted to see how much voltage is left when I ride. Now, I did notice that on one of the forums on Facebook, somebody had mentioned that 44 volts was the cutoff for this bike, meaning when it hit 44, they ran out of power. And that's, again, very common. It doesn't go down to zero. So you have to kind of know, if you use this type of percentage, or I'm sorry, the actual voltage, you got to know what the final voltage will be on your bike before you run out of battery power. Good morning. So I'm using pedal assist level 3 right now. I'm just going at a leisurely pace. I know it's kind of hard to see on the camera, but I'm doing about 13.5 miles an hour. So it's a leisurely pace right now. We'll kick it up when we get to that hill. Morning. All right, so we're gonna have to stop here because there's cars. And we'll push the little emergency light thing, see if cars stop for us. And one side does, and so does the other side. It's the nice thing about having crosswalks that actually have the ability to stop the cars. Not all of the areas we're going to go to have that ability. So yeah, how do I like the bike so far as the ride? Wow, it does ride pretty much like my other bike. You know, as I mentioned, I had a Rad Rover 5, and this bike feels just like it, quite frankly. And that's because, you know, it is still the 26-inch wheels, 4-inch fat tires. They have similar brakes, although I did upgrade my brakes on my Rad Rover. But it has the Step-Thru brakes that originally came with the Rad, and I'm familiar with that. So I will say that the assembly of this bike was really easy. Now, I don't know whether that's because I've had experience assembling 2 bikes already, and this would be the 3rd, or is it because it's just easy? I think it's just easy. But I did know exactly what I needed to do, and my total time to assemble was 45 minutes. Now, I'm not saying that everybody is going to have that ability to do it that quickly, because if you're new to it, it takes you a little longer. I know the very first bike I did was over 2 hours. Then the second bike I did was a little bit quicker. I think it was maybe 1 hour and 15 minutes, something like that, 1 hour and 20. This one, 45 minutes. Yeah, so I'm getting better at the ability to put together the bikes. But I will say it's not hard. All you have to do is put the front tire on, put the front the front fenders on. You have to put the handlebar on, and yeah, that's about it. I think there wasn't really a whole lot of other things that you really needed to do. So yeah, very easy to do. All right, so I've moved myself up to pedal assist level 4. We are coming up toward the area where I usually have a problem getting over the hill. But I don't think we're going to have that problem today with the Magicycle. Now, what I typically do Thank you. All right, what I typically do is I will throttle when I need it, pedal assist during the other time. So usually right after this bridge is where I have problems. So I'm going to put myself on pedal assist level 5. start pedaling and going up this hill. Now I fully expect that we will drop a little bit in miles per hour going up the hill, but really we're not. I was doing 20 miles per hour. I'm coming up over this hill at just about 16 miles an hour. I'm going to drop us back down in pedal assist level to 3. Yeah, that was easy. Now, if you've seen my past videos, you know that was the toughest hill I had. It was hard to get over that thing before. Not anymore. This thing is amazing. Now, if you're a older rider and you might not be that interested in going fast, let me tell you this. It's not the speed, it's the ability to get over the hill. All right? Same thing here. A little bit of hill. I just popped myself into assist level 4 and I am flying over the hill. Back down to 3. So yeah, it's very easy on this bike. Now, if you live in an area where it's just flat consistently, might not make that much of a difference to you initially. But if you have like little hills on this path, anywhere along your riding path, you're gonna like this bike. Because it will not be any problems getting over these things. I also like the display. It has a lot of different information on here. So there's a trip meter. Let me see here. The odometer, total odometer, your maximum speed. Seems like my maximum speed I hit was 21 miles an hour. And what your average speed was and how long you've been riding the bike. You even have a clock on there. So yeah, I'm liking it. I am definitely liking it. Now, people have asked me if I was going to modify this bike. As you know, I modified my other bike. I don't think so. I don't think there's a necessity to do it. Now, you may ask about my batteries because, as you know, I changed out the batteries on the Rad to some more powerful, bigger batteries. I went to a 52 volt battery there too, but it's a 20 amp hour. This one's 15. Am I going to modify the bike to accept those batteries? And the answer is no. I don't think so. What I think I will do is if I decide I need to take this further, I'm going to buy another Magicycle battery. Strap it to the rear rack. I think that's the easiest way to do it. You don't have to modify anything. You bring a second battery, you can go farther. Now, the one thing I think I will do, though, is the throttle. Now, I typically have been using aftermarket devices that you can strap around the throttle to turn it into like a thumb throttle. I kind of prefer that. I think I will eventually do that. I might do that for maybe our next video about the bike. We'll see. But for this initial ride, I figured let's leave it as it is. Let's leave it as the bike came. So we're gonna have to cross the street here. So again, crossing here, I usually throttle to get across. Hop off, reposition, and we're gonna cross again. I find that is the easiest way for me to deal with it. And the Magicycle is proving to be pretty easy to work with so far. I like the fat tires. The fat tires are nice. The suspension fork helps a lot when you're bumping over areas that have a little bit more, they're not smooth, let's put it that way. You get a lot better feel when you have the suspension. And you can lock that out too, because if you look down here, there's a open or lock button there, and you can just twist that and that'll lock the suspension to a standard fork. But I like the suspension. So every bike I have, I usually like having a suspension on there. Okay, now as we go into this area, there's another area that has a tough hill to climb over. Now there's a shortcut that I usually take, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go where the cars will typically go through this forest preserve, and that makes it a tougher climb. And so my other bike had a difficulty there too. We're going to see how the Magicycle does with it. Now, as we mentioned, the Magicycle has a 750 watt motor, and I believe it's a true 750 watt motor. My other bike, it's claimed to be 750 watts, but many people feel it's probably 500 that peaks at 750. Well, this one peaks a lot higher, and it starts at the standard 750 watt motor, so that's going to be nice. So out here in the Chicago suburbs, it's still a little chilly. Things have not grown 100% back yet, but we do see some of it coming back. The grass is starting to get a little greener. But it is a forest preserve, and of course, we don't have any leaves on the trees yet. Let me say this too. I was very glad to be contacted by Magicycle, and they asked if I would do a review of their bike, and I did not hesitate. I immediately said, yes, I will. Because I heard about this bike, and it's got a reputation of being a bike that has no problems going over hills and things. I said, yeah, I need this. So I was very anxious to do it. I will tell you that I turned down 2 other bike companies before this one because I didn't think their products really were the things that I really wanted to represent. So now that's not to say that, after testing this bike I don't like it. I would tell you I don't recommend it, but I would have to say at this point I'm pretty much a tried and true believer. This thing is really nice. Okay, we're coming up to the hill, and you might be able to see it even kind of winding up. I'm on pedal assist level 4, okay? I'm doing 19 miles an hour over this hill. Let's hit it to 5. Yeah, we're maintaining 18 to 19 miles an hour going over the top of this. So yeah, not a problem. Now, let me mention another thing too, because I noticed that I just dropped ourselves back down to assist level 3. I noticed that on some reviews, people were mentioning that the bike came, set up too fast and the like. Now, I will admit that the pedal assist level is a little higher than I prefer, so I knocked it down. I recommend you do that too, unless you are, like I said, one of those that likes that kind of kick out of a bike. And some said that, the bike came set up for 28 miles per hour. They don't do that anymore because mine was set at 20, which puts it at the legal limit of a Class 2 bike. Now, can you do the 28? Yes, you can. All right, because in the menu again, in the advanced function, you could actually change your pedal assist level to 28 miles per hour. Now, some may say, well, that's illegal. No, it isn't. It's only illegal if you're doing the 28 miles an hour in areas that don't allow it, because that would be considered a Class 3 bike at that point, where you're pedaling and you're able to get 28 miles per hour. Now, I looked on the bike. I don't see anything that says it's Class 2 or Class 3 or Class 1. It doesn't show any type of class on it. And I think that's because this bike can actually do both, or all 3, actually, if you think about it. We're going to have to wait to cross here. There's a lot of traffic. So if you're riding on the street and you want to do 28 miles an hour while pedaling, you can do it. And if you want to stay at 20 miles an hour, which is the legal limit, on many of the paths, you can do that too. Yeah, and I'm still messing with the pedal assist levels. I'm finding that whatever I had set up for level assist for 3 is a little lower than I prefer, and 4 seems to take off quite a bit. So I think 3 needs to be increased a little bit for me. 4 needs to be dropped a little bit for me. I think 4 and 5 probably very similar. But you'll get used to doing that, and once you set it the way you like it, you can ride it any way you want, and I kind of like that. Now the other bikes that I have doesn't have that ability. They don't give me the ability to change the level of the assist to that percentage degree. This one does. So yeah, overall, I like the bike. I think it does everything that I would want it to do. It's got the power when I need it. I can change the levels that I want. Yeah, it's really nice. All right, let's go straight. Came to a fork in the road. Now let's go straight. I really appreciate Magicycle giving me the opportunity to do this. Like I said, I didn't hesitate to take it because I said it would be a bike that I would be seriously interested in. And for them offering me the bike in order to do a review of it, yeah, I jumped at it. Yeah, this is really nice. I really like this bike. Would I give it high regards? Yeah, I would. I would say high recommendations, definitely. So, everything has good and everything has bad. So, what are the things that I feel are not so good about the bike? Well, it's kind of nitpicking it. Like I said, the assist levels are set up a little bit too high for me. I think initially it should be lower. The brakes are fine. I saw in other reviews that, and that's one benefit I had too, because this bike has been out for a while, so I've had the benefit of seeing what other reviewers have said about the bike, and so Magicycle has actually responded to that. They've taken those things to heart and made changes, which is nice. They improved on the brakes. They took off the old brakes and gave you the Step-Thru brakes. And it's not coming out at 28 miles an hour, it's coming out at 20 when it's shipped. So those concerns I think are gone at this point. The brakes are fine. Now one day I might want to eventually upgrade the brakes to hydraulic brakes, I don't know. They do have them available at Magicycle. Maybe I'll be lucky enough, maybe one day they'll give one to me, and I'll do that modification to the bike. But for now, since they are new, the brakes are perfectly fine. They're working as they should. I did bed in the brakes. If you don't know what that means, it's basically running your bike about 15 miles an hour, something like that, and then hitting the brakes, and then letting go. And then you do it again, and then letting go. So you go over and over with it. And by doing that, you deposit some of the brake pad material onto the rotor, and it helps keep the rotor from squeaking. So that's something I recommend that you do. All bikes should do that, not just this bike. All bikes, you should do that with new brakes. Anytime you change your brake pads, you should do that. So yeah, this is a little different type of review. I'm not just talking about the bike, I'm telling you a little about about things you should look out for as a rider. Yeah, that's part of the Russ is Right channel. That's what I really do. All right, I think we've ridden enough. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about the bike. So what did I really think about this bike? Well, I think you can pretty much tell that I really like it. Yeah, it has a lot of power. It's a true 750 watt motor. Some claim 750, but sometimes we wonder if it truly is. But this one is a true 750 that peaks a lot higher than that. It's got 86 Newton meters of torque. Now that's the thing that was bringing me over those hills. I mean, with the bike that I rode last year, yeah, I could barely get over those hills. All right, this thing's got no problems at all. It's got power. I was going over there as fast as I wanted. If I pedaled even harder, I probably could have maintained at 20 miles per hour on it. But I was pedaling really easily just to make sure that the motor itself was pulling me over and I wasn't putting too much of my own personal effort into it. So it's a powerful bike. Yeah, definitely is. The one thing I didn't like I said, is that initially the bike comes set up for pedal assist levels that are a little higher than I'm used to. So even at pedal assist level 1, it was at 40% of power assists. So you're talking something that really might give a little bit more kick initially than people are used to. So as a safety, my advice would be is to drop it down. And it's a very easy way to do it in the menu. Like I said, it's the simplest menu I've ever seen. Drop it down, change the pedal assist levels to where you feel most comfortable. I'll put up my listing here. You don't have to follow mine. I'm still tweaking it myself. I'm still playing with it to decide what is the best percentage for each level for me. But you've got to find what's best for you. Okay, so do that. I will say too, and again, I have notes on the side here, so I just wanted to make sure I don't miss anything here. It is designed for riders between 5'5" and 6'5" inches. It's a 79-pound bike. It's not light in weight, but it is typical of bikes in its category. Price. Let me tell you real quickly about the price. The retail price of the bikes are $17.99, but they do currently have sales on it as of this recording. The Step-Thru version is $1,649. Now, if you wanted to go with the Step-Over version, with the one with the top tube on it, those are retailing again $17.99, but their actually current sale price is $15.89. So they're actually a little bit less expensive than the mid-step version that we review here. You can get discounts on it. I do have discount codes available to you. If you use the code RUSS100, that'll save you $100 off of anything over $1,500. And if you use the code RUSS200, that'll save you $200 off of anything over $3,000. So if you bought one bike, save $100. If you bought two bikes, save $200. Okay. I would say overall, the experience has been really good with this bike. I've had a chance to live with it for a little bit now. I plan to do another video for Magicycle, which will go through how to set up the changes that I did in the menu. Okay, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And we'll talk about some other things too. Oh, one more thing I want to talk about too is the battery charger. I'm actually really impressed with this thing. This is a 3-amp battery charger, so a little bit more powerful than some of the others that come with some of the bikes. But what I really like is there's a fan here. Okay, that fan kept this thing really cool. Yeah, a lot of the battery chargers that I've used in the past for various batteries that I have for the bikes, they're very warm to the touch. I think if you talk to most of the people out there that has a e-bike, they'll tell you how hot some of these things can get. This thing was cool to the touch the entire time. Yeah, took about 3 to 5 hours to charge the battery, depending on how discharged the battery is when you start the charging cycle. So it's a pretty fast charger. Yeah, 3 to 5 hours, you should pretty much finish the charge of the bike battery. So overall, my recommendation, definitely, I would say yes. I like the bike. I think it does a good job. If you like this, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. There's a lot more review things coming up in the future. So yeah, I appreciate it very much for Magicycle giving me this bike and giving me the opportunity to be able to do the review. Now, I will be using the bike throughout too. Yeah, this is one I'm planning to keep. Anyways, if you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys next time.